Hey everyone, and welcome back to a better version of myself. Today, we're diving into a topic that can be, well, let's just say it can be one of the most frustrating things out there. Love.
Absolutely. And we're not just talking about bad dates. We're going to get into the invisible scripts. The ones that are running in the back of our minds and totally sabotaging our chances at finding that real connection we're all looking for.
Sound familiar? Yeah. If you've ever had this thought, you are in very, very good company. It's that feeling, right? That frustration. Like you're just stuck on a hamster wheel of disappointing dates, and you just can't seem to find a real connection. It is absolutely exhausting, and honestly, it can make you feel pretty hopeless.
And it's so easy to blame everything else, right? We blame the dating apps, we blame the city we live in, or we just throw our hands up and say, there are no good people left.
Right. But what if the real problem isn't out there at all? What if the real reason you feel so stuck is actually something much deeper, something running on complete autopilot inside your own mind?
Well, that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about limiting beliefs.
So, what exactly is a limiting belief? Well, to put it simply, it's a thought that you've played on repeat for so long that your brain has basically just filed it away as a fact. But here's the most important part. It's not a fact. It's just an assumption. Think of it like a piece of faulty code running in the background of your computer. It affects everything you do, but you probably don't even realize the program is on. Just take a look at some of these. Do any of them ring a bell? I'm not worthy of love. Or all the good ones are already taken. How about this one? This is a big one. I have to sacrifice who I am to be in a relationship. If any of those just hit you in the gut a little bit, trust me, you are not alone. These are some of the most common beliefs holding people back.
So, that begs the question, where do these ideas even come from? It's not like any of us woke up one day and decided to believe these things. No, they get programmed into us, usually when we're very young, way before we have any idea what's even happening. That is so true. You learned a blueprint for what love is supposed to look like, the same exact way you learned how to walk and talk, just by watching. You saw your parents' relationship, you heard things from relatives, you saw it in movies and on TV. And all of that came together to create this sort of default setting that now just runs on autopilot in your adult life.
And this is pretty much how a tiny, harmless little thought can grow into this powerful, undeniable truth. It starts with a small seed in childhood, maybe just an offhand comment you overheard. Then, a teenage breakup happens and it feels like proof. Then, as an adult, your brain gets really good at looking for even more evidence to back up that original idea. It creates this vicious cycle that filters all of your experiences until that old belief just feels like a hard fact.
Okay, but here is the really good news. You are not stuck with this programming, not at all. You can absolutely challenge it and you can rewrite it. So right now, we're going to walk you through 3 simple but seriously powerful mindset shifts that you can start using literally today. All right, the first shift is all about the words you use. So instead of making this big, definitive statement like, I'm unlucky in love, which sounds like a permanent part of your identity, try reframing it as a lived experience. I've experienced challenging relationships in the past. Can you feel the difference there? One is a fixed label. The other is just something that happened in the past. And we all know the past does not have to equal the future. Okay, shift number 2 is super direct, and I love it. The moment that negative inner critic pops up, you have to interrupt it. I mean, literally say it out loud if you can, or just shout it in your head, cancel, cancel, cancel. This works like a pattern interrupt for your brain. And then, right away, you replace it with a thought that actually serves you, like, I am open and I am ready to receive love. And this brings us to the real heavy lifting. Your brain has this thing called a confirmation bias. Basically, it loves being right. So if you believe all the good ones are taken, your brain will actually filter reality to only show you proof of that. So to break that spell, you have to become a detective for a new reality. You have to intentionally, consciously, search for proof that your old belief is wrong. Yeah, for example, if your belief is that good, kind people are just hard to find, you have to start collecting evidence to prove it wrong. Notice the small stuff, the stranger who holds the door open for you, your friend's really kind and supportive partner. Every single time you see a happy couple, let that be your new proof. And instead of feeling jealous, just tell yourself, see, it's possible. If they can find love, so can I.
Okay, so challenging those old automatic thoughts is a fantastic first step.
And now it's time to get proactive. We're going to give you a step-by-step guide to not just tear down that old story, but to consciously write a brand new one for your love life.
This 5-step process is your roadmap. It all starts with awareness.
You have to identify the belief that's really holding you back and then trace it back to where it started. Then you move into action. You actively contradict it by finding new proof, and you envision what your life would actually look and feel like without it. And the final, most powerful step is to rewrite it. State your new empowering belief as if it's already a fact.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. The old belief might be, I have to sacrifice my independence for love. That's a belief totally rooted in fear of loss. But the new, rewritten belief is, the right partnership enhances my freedom and supports my growth. You feel that? It's a complete transformation from a mindset of scarcity to one of total abundance.
Okay, so you've done the work. You've identified the old belief, you've written a new one. But there is one final, absolutely crucial step.
This is where it all comes together. A new belief is powerful, for sure, but it only becomes your reality when your actions actually line up with it. You have to start living it.
Exactly. Thinking new thoughts is where it starts, but the real change happens when you start to act from that new belief. It means making choices, big and small, that go against that old faulty programming. So if your old belief was that you weren't worthy, acting worthy might mean setting a clear boundary or speaking up for what you need.
And this right here is a question you can keep in your back pocket. It's so useful. When you're feeling anxious after a date and you're wondering if you should text them again, just pause, just stop and ask yourself, how would a person who feels secure and lucky in love handle this? It immediately shifts you out of your old, fearful patterns and into a much more empowered place.
You know, what this really all boils down to is a shift in focus, from fear to inspiration. An old belief might have you thinking, I have to avoid getting rejected at all costs. But a new belief focuses on, I am excited for the chance to connect with new people. You see? One is all about defense and self-protection. The other is about openness and possibility. And that's the goal.
So, if you take just one thing away from our whole chat today, please let it be this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are not broken.
You're just patterned. And the most hopeful, liberating truth in the world is that patterns can always be changed.
You know, this isn't just a hypothetical question. We genuinely want you to think about it. What is that one old, tired story that you are finally ready to let go of? And more importantly, what is the new, empowering belief you're going to choose to step into starting right now?
If this explainer resonated with you at all, please give it a like. It genuinely helps the channel reach more people. And of course, make sure you subscribe to A Better Version of Myself so you don't miss our next one. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.